Well, slightly break from the norm. Instead of talking Laurel's, Ledger, or Derby, we're here in the middle of the week talking the Sporting Press Irish Oaks. I'm joined by Declan O'Donoghue, of course, the Sporting Press's man on the ground at Shelbourne Park, and a man that's seen a fair few Oaks over his years. Declan, the Oaks has a particular place in the heart of the Irish people. As a nation, we're very much into the produce, the breeding, the ladies have a big part to play in our sport, certainly on Irish soil, and it's a great competition, and always has been.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're in a very different time of year to normal, but there's nothing normal this year. We just have to get on with that. The first round was good. I can see it taking off a bit more this week. You know what I mean? We one or two we might have thought were quite at this level, are very much at this level, and that does add a bit of fizz to it. We've usual suspects, but it's building up to be a great competition. Even at this stage, trying to pick a winner is very difficult. Even finalists is not easy, because qualifying, like the Derby, it is really about qualifying at the end. Everyone wants to win the races, of course you do, but at the end of the day, it's being in the first three. And while most of the heats this Saturday look fairly straightforward, there's one or two crackers there as well. Certainly.
Yeah, certainly are a few crackers. We started off with a massive field of 78. Like, it had been advertised for 66. They had to increase it. As a result, we got a bit of drama. We had to have eight fastest fourth place finish, and we had a tie. So as a result of the tie, the trap draw was put back to Tuesday evening, so they could do a coin toss between the various connections. As it was Kiwi Kai that made its way into the draw, but we're left with 48, and as you say, there's some real talent there. Of course, one or two stand out, the likes of the Droopy's Curio, who really is a special lady, and Ballymacbeanie, very impressive in the opening round in particular.
Yes, Droopy's Curio, we know she is arguably the best greyhound in the country at the moment. I mean, that's, she's a bit hit and miss with her breaking, which as you go through a competition could get expensive somewhere down the line, but she recovers very quickly. You know what I mean? She gets back into it very sharply. She's very good track sense as well.
She has massive pace, and she runs a great bend.
Absolutely, and important for one has to come behind from time to time. She can go inside, outside. That doesn't, whichever is the best way. That's the way she'll take the shortest route home. So she's outstanding. Ballymacbeanie, yeah. I mean, it's amazing having Pestana having it up to Derby. Could I have sister now do the same in the Oaks? It is possible. Certainly she could hardly have started better. There's a few other ones that I think are interesting. I thought Grangeview West brings freshness to this. She is really
it was her first run. It was her first run of the year
last
week.
And
this week she came on for it, and she'll come on for it again, you'd imagine.
Absolutely. Oh, I think she is a big player. You know what I mean? And I thought John McGee's one that was an English Derby, the
Swanley chick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's a track record in Dundalk recently, 5.25. That's no mean feat, especially for a bitch. And she ran very well in the English Derby. And I always think bitches that compete with the top dogs, there's something about them. You know what I mean? And she is interesting. So straight away, we've already named 4 or 5. And I'm sure we've left out a few more potential winners. So it's very exciting. Absolutely.
Yeah, getting back to the likes of Droopy's Curio, where does she stand in terms of the pantheon of the great bitches we've seen in recent times? Of course, she's very early in her career. It's very hard. You can't really judge her just as yet, but she certainly has the ability to get to the likes of a Marina's Tina, Born a Best, Born a Gem, that type.
She has, yeah. She broke her record in her first race. Now, generally, it's downhill from there. But she's maintained that class all the way through. She put in, she did a record in Waterford as well, and she runs Shelbourne very well, and she's top class, and it's all still ahead of her, really. You know what I mean? She's a very exciting tracker going forward, and there's no doubt next summer she could be very much in the picture for Derby as well. She's certainly that good.
No question about that. One heat that I'm going to bring you straight into from the opening round was Heat 4. It was the clash of Rowana Best and Miss Joss. Behind them was Slieve League. And she's a good gauge. Slieve League, perhaps not quite back at the form she was last year, but in essence, she ran well in defeat, and by all accounts, she should come forward for that. But Miss Joss and Rowana Best, they served up a cracking contest. 2 ladies that could go far.
They did, and they both ran up to their form, and Miss Joss does love the outside, definitely, and we know with wide season competitions, they keep qualifying. You know what I mean? So that's a huge factor in her favour. Rana Best is very, very good. Never runs a bad one. Big chance this Saturday, I think, in a tricky enough heat. But yeah, they're two big players certainly. And Steve League is getting on a bit. She does like the insides. Much better chance this week, although again in a tough heat. But she's drawn 2 this week, so she will get on the fence pretty early, one way or the other.
Yeah. Is there anything else that caught your eye in the opening round, Declan? Of course, there were so many heats. It's sort of hard to sort of just glance through them and just pick them out randomly. But well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll start from the start. We'll go quickly through the heats. The opening heat was won well by Breton Avril. She didn't look like she was going to get the corner. She got there on the bend, drove the bend, went on. Bowshine Bullet again running on very strongly. She's the type that can continue to progress. If she gets a run, perhaps at that third bend most nights, that Bowshine Bullet, she's won for further in time.
She is, yeah. But there are a lot in this competition that want a longer trip. A lot of them, you know what I mean? Some are crying out for a longer trip already. So a lot of them will keep qualifying. But when it comes to the night of the final, you know, you want to be getting out there. You know what I mean? So I think there's 2 interesting runners in the first heat on Saturday. Now there's more than 2, but I mean I think Ravenswood Mango out of 4 and Ballymacart out of 5. Ballymacart has already competed in the juvenile derby. Again, I always like bitches that compete against dogs. They do, you know, it toughens them up. She runs from 5. She's tough. She's classy. A bit inexperienced, but you know, Liam Dowling, he puts them in straight in at the top level, and they all seem to prosper. Ravenswood Mango won't do the clocks that the superstars are doing, but she is fiercely competitive. You know what I mean? She's a great attitude.
Like her performances, her performances through the Derby Plate were right up there.
Indeed,
you know?
She finished second in the Derby Plate final, having led most of the way, and there's probably not too many in the Oaks that could do that. So they clashed straight away in the first heat on Saturday. There's a few more. Slippy Diva probably needs longer. Clona Sky, Graham Holland, but hasn't been breaking as well as she can. And she's a little bit inexperienced, but she is good enough. You know, High View Mission is in 3, no great early, I think, but you know, has beaten Butch Spell 7 lengths, so she can run. And out in 6, Gypsy Island, who probably is a 5.75 runner.
She's a 5.75 runner. No question about that. She definitely needs to be further than the 5.25.
Yeah, I think that first heat, the clash of Ravenswood Mango and Ballymacart straight away, that's a cracker. You know?
Yeah, cracking contest. We'll move on to the second heat then. We'll go in Saturday night heat order.
Yeah.
Clear Mountain is well housed on the fence. A quick look at this contest. I thought she was probably going to be the one to beat. Again, she's proven against the dogs in the past. Prices for owner ran very well the other night, but it was very much down to the draw. She was perfectly housed on the fence. She'll have to work to get to the fence this occasion. I thought Clear Mountain was perhaps the most likely winner. I thought Mohane Rosa ran a big race in defeat in the opening round behind Scooby Princess. Anything else in that contest? Ballymac Juliet has a big run on her card, but has struggled to produce it since she probably wants further. And Ballybrack Gem on the outside, another one with a couple of decent form lines on her card. But Clear Mountain for me, the one to beat in Heat 2.
Yeah, Clear Mountain, well drawn, stays forever. Has a lot going for her. She is the one to beat. Kiwi K in 2 got through on the toss of a coin, but strange things happen in this sport. Yeah. In fairness to her, she did need a race. Badly needed a race last week, I thought. So she will come on for it. But she was competing in A4 and Turles. This is a big step up. Princess Verona, she's 4 years old, plenty of stamina, plenty of experience, tough sort. But yeah, could struggle from there. Ballymac Juliet, I think Black's early zip, you know. Has met first bend trouble twice, so she has pace, but she can make it difficult for herself. I agree with you about the 5 Mohane Rosa. Very interesting one. This she's experienced. She has a great strike rate. She ran a cracker last week. She's a 2:06 sectional. She will make a race for it. I think she will give Clear Mountain a lot to do, but either way, Clear Mountain will probably outstay her. You know, Ballybrack Gem probably would prefer longer, but survived an early bump last week and did well to qualify.
Yeah, and she is well drawn in Trap 6 as well.
Oh, very well drawn, absolutely. Yeah.
Heat 3 is perhaps one of the heats of the entire round. We have mentioned Swanley Chick and Miss Joss. They're very much the big two, but I thought Cushy Spirit and Bowshine Bullet were eye catchers in the opening round.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cushy Spirit it is well drawn again on the fence, comes home strongly. Swanley Chick, we discussed her. She's just brilliant at the moment, and she is one of the big contenders for outright glory here. No question about that. Now, Kerry Road Butch ran a good race behind her last week, and she's in three. You know, they'd be looking to qualify, and she might well do so. Bowshine Bullet, well, Gary Dempsey has these dogs are in flying form at the moment. Probably needs a career best to win this, but every chance of qualifying. Ballydoyle Flush, Martin Lanny, of course, top trainer again, very consistent, but she would need to be on her toes at this level. And Miss Joss, she's 4 from 6, improving all the time, perfectly drawn. It's a 2-6 race, obviously, you know, possibly Miss Joss might just be a little bit fresher, perhaps. That might just be the difference.
Yeah, that one could be decided in the opening yards. You'd imagine if either or gets to the front, they'll be very hard to pick up. Yeah, sure. Heat 4, we don't need to spend too much time in Heat 4 because while traps 2 to 6 are all very useful, there's nothing going to worry Droopy's Curio if she comes away on terms. If she did come away on terms and conditions allowing, you'd expect this one to frighten 28 seconds.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's a big if with her because she is very hit and miss at traps, you know. But she's great early pace. Even if she misses the kick here, she looks an absolute certainty in that heat. Penny's Bacata in 3 has a bit of early pace. You know, if one doesn't break, she will. 6, Right So Bell, experience, perfect draw, stays on well. But I have to agree with you, Droopy's Curio absolutely stands out there.
Yeah, very hard to beat. We'll move on to Heat 5. And in this contest, the draw... Tricky. 6 inside seeds. Rowana best for me, probably the one they have to beat. 3, Razzle Dazzle Annie will dive for the fence. Oh, Love Tune. I thought if she was going to do anything, she'd edge inwards. I thought she ran well in the opening round, but hard to see past Rowana best, especially if she was to make a good start again from trap 5.
Yeah. If she doesn't, though, it is wide open. Lady Panda in 1 is experienced. She stays on. She has a 2:07 section, so she can run. Ravenswood Amy. She's had 35 races, all in Shelbourne. Great form lately. Didn't break as well as she can last week, but she'll be in the mix for sure. Razzle Dazzle Annie maybe hasn't won as many races as she might like, but that's because she's running over trips too short. She's mixed in very hot company. She was in the Derby, if you remember. She was stay 5.75. Oh, Love Tune, Fraser Black, yeah, very slick winner last week. You know, Amp did everything right last week. You know, probably needs the same again. Rana Best is superb. She is the one to beat. Corner House Lady is very interesting. She is an inside seed, but she has done a 199 from trap 6 last year.
Yeah, she won the Lee Strand last year as well, didn't she?
Absolutely, and sometimes runners that have been in trap 6 for a while, for whatever reason, they could bomb out of it, whether they hear the hair early or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So if Corner House Lady came out as she can from 6, then it's interesting. But her Anna Best definitely is the one to beat, yeah.
Yeah, no question about that. The 6th heat on the card. There's no one where you'd say this looks a good thing or anything like it. It's a competitive affair. Sleeve Leag will come on for the run. She's closest to the fence. She's probably not as dependent on the fence as she was in her youth, but she has outstanding claims. Ballymac Wisdom will be absolutely hammering home. There's no question about that. She probably wants further. F4 Blue Jig Look really caught my eye last week. I really like the way she went about it in the closing yards. Another one that would prefer further. And 6 Rope Walk Pacer, one of 2 winners for Liam O'Rourke in the opening round. Liam's dogs are absolutely flying, and whatever happens, Rope Walk Pacer won't be too far away.
Yeah, you're right. It's a very good heat. Grange Nifty on the inside ran a cracker against Droopy's Curio last week. So, and she will be coming on from that. Sleeve League, total inside ready, you're right, perfectly drawn, well drawn. Will feature. Ballymac Wisdom probably needs to improve on recent form. Blue Jig Look you're talking about is 5 from 10. I don't think Shelbourne suits her at all. She's ran 4 times, hasn't been mapped. Last week was her best run there. She's brilliant around Dundalk. She's brilliant at Mullingar. But I don't think the track suits her, but she is very good. Dana Point has run in the 750 recently. You know, she's won 1 from 7. You'd think she could struggle. Rope Walk.
A sister to Miss Joss, of course, Dana Point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she can run. But again, I think slightly inexperienced perhaps for this, and also probably wants a longer trip. Rope Walk Pacer is remarkable. She's the most improved runner in the stake. Now, she's a local runner. She was always a top-class grader, very genuine, all that. but she has. And sometimes in mid-career, greyhounds after about 20 races, they can just find a little bit extra, whether it's age, experience, whatever it is. But she's now a top-class performer. She won an Oak Seat last Saturday. I think she'll win this one as well. And she's improving all the time. She's pacey, competitive, and perfectly drawn in 6. It's a tough heat, but if I had to bet, I would say 6, rope walk, pacey.
Yeah, of course. She does have a 28-17 on her card when you think about that. Granted, it came in A2 company, but as you say, she's left A2 company well behind her at this point. The penultimate heat of the round. And all eyes will be on Ballymacbeanie after that devastating run last week. She's clearly a very promising young bitch. Like, that's 28-28 and 28-04 she's done. She's already a sprint winner around Clonmel. She's bred in the purple, like by a Derby winner out of Coolavani Pet, who herself was a top-class racer, a little bit quirky perhaps, but she is really making a name for herself as a brood. Of course, we've already mentioned Pastana, but this is a really, really competitive and hot heat. Difficult enough, perhaps, to make claims for the likes of Penny's Kazil, but at the same time has a 28-50 on its card, which suggests that the rest of them are very talented. Breton Narvel, a big winner last week. Billy's Diva, one of the fastest debuts ever in Irish soil, has since done 28-11. To add to that, 28-09. Battle Cry is an absolute aeroplane. There's no question about that. I just cannot wait to see her over further. 750 in particular, and then Fabulous Bell, 28-23, the second last night, and was prominent in a very hot heat the last night throughout. This is a cracking contest. It'd be fitting of an Oaks final itself.
It would, yes, absolutely. Ballymacbeanie has to back up that run now. 28-04 in the first round, fantastic. Now she's got a top one here. I don't think that's too important for really, but she but it is a tough heat, absolutely. Breton Narvel, like Ballymacbeanie, is in a tougher heat this time, but she was a smart first round winner for sure. Yeah, Billy's Diva, bit inexperienced perhaps. She's a February 19 puppy. She's a very, very good one. Massive.
She's a massive engine. She probably wants further, Declan, does she?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and she's great potential. I mean, she could prove to be the best of them long term. Battle Cry. Well, Paul Hennessy and Patricia McGrath obviously know much more than I do, because if I had this one, her 525 days would have been over.
There was a novice 750 last year, Declan. I think you remember a week or two before the Night of Stars, I think it was, or a couple of months perhaps before the Night of Stars. And I was only short of pleading on the phone to Paul one day. I was texting Patricia going, "You're surely going to put this one in. Surely you're going to put this one." And yet we're still waiting for her to go over 750 yards.
Yeah, well,
something else over it.
The late Henry Cecil said horses make fools of us all. And there's no doubt greyhounds. I mean, Battle Cry could finish up winning the Oaks, and we'd all look ridiculous, not for the first time, But to be flying home here, it is a tough heat, though. I think for Battle Cry, realistic, this is about qualifying. Penny's Cushy is doing well. Former A6 and A4 racer, but has a lot to do. Is unlucky to be drawn in this heat, I would have thought. And Fabulous Bell, Graham Holland, well drawn in 6. Second in the Munster Oaks final. Progressive, she will feature.
She has tremendous early speed, Declan. She looks the likely leader on the outside.
She could well lead here. She's right in the mix. You'd come down to it, I'd say, between 1 and 6. And on last week's form, you just slightly favoured the Ballymac one on last week.
Just the way she's going, the Ballymacbeanie bitch. The fact that she's only January 19, it would be no surprise if she went a length faster, dipped under that 28-second barrier, and still, 3 months shy of her second birthday. She's clearly very, very special lady.
But against Fabulous Bell, she really won't be on her toes.
She certainly will. In the final heat, there's no question the best drawn dog in it is Boyle Sports Joy. She's an absolute devil for the fence, but she will really need to be on her toes because some talented types here, of course, the two that stand out in terms of proven form are Grange U West, of course, who won a Derby final like last year, Munster Oaks winners last year, Scooby Princess, who we've seen competing against the dogs, showing more pace than the dogs quite often. She nearly threw it away last week. She went out for a bit of a sightseeing tour off the final turn, but just testament to her that she got back up to lead on the line. But then they're surrounded by some interesting types. That Glazed Tracy, I thought, ran a big race on Irish debut or Irish return. She'd won 10 of her previous 11 starts at Doncaster. It's a fair achievement, be it an A1, an open company. Ballymac Dior is a really nice type. She's taking a step up in grade again here. And Langsyne, well, we know she can run a bit. She ran well behind Ravenswood Mango. Another cracking heat to finish with. Obviously, 2 and 5 are the two to talk about, but the others can't be completely dismissed, Declan. It's one of those heats.
No, I would expect Grangewood West to win it. I think she is fantastic, and as I say, she has freshness. She's classy. She's a great strike rate. Pat Guilfoyle, she's everything going for. But Boyle Sports Joy on her inside, what a tracker! What a tracker! And a dream tracker for anyone to own, because she is genuine, big chance, always runs a race, and she's well drawn there. Yeah, for sure. Days Tracy, we don't know a lot about, as you say, but has a top class record, and Greyhounds keep winning. They're doing something right, you know what I mean? And she was very good last week. Ballymac DR has been a revelation. Liam O'Rourke would win with nearly anything now. But
her owner, Rika Human, is on Twitter, and you could tell that she's taking every stride with this bitch.
Absolutely. It's all about enthusiasm and social media. It's fantastic, yes. And it'd be great to see her go through, but it is a tough heat for her. Scooby Princess, I think 5.25 is too short for her, to be honest. She is a wide runner also, which can keep you out of trouble. That's not always a bad thing. But Lang Syne in 6, excuse me, Francie Murray is in great form again. She's not back to last year's form. Like last December, she was doing seconds 195, 201. Now, if she does something like that on Saturday, it's game over. But on recent form, but she's running on. She is well drawn. But I think Grangeview West is the one to beat in the last 8 for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would imagine she'd come on again for the run. Like, she's only had the 2 runs this year.
Absolutely. You're always slightly worried when a greyhound hasn't raced for so long. Is there some kind of injury worry or something there in the background? But assuming that she's 100%, then she could go a very long way in this, I would think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's truly a great night's racing at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. There is something special about the bitches, though. Declan, I know your experience of the Oaks goes back quite a while. Do you have any great memories of the Oaks? What would have been your favourite Oaks winners over the years?
Well, one of the first I remember would be Roman to work back at Harold Cross. But look, you've got me to hop there. There's so many great Oaks winners down the years, You always like the ones that compete well against the dogs too, and they always seem to come out on top in the end. So that gives us a few that we can be looking at. As I say, John McGee's one was running superbly in Dingley Starry, and I thought to come straight back and go straight into the Oaks the way she has was very, very good. So she is one, as I say, Grangeview West in the last heat. She is interesting, definitely. You said she won the Munster Oaks last year, and she is good. Look, there's so many. I mean, read about it in the Sporting Press next week. We're going to have a full report on.
Come on, Declan, get the plug in. Get the plug in.
Full detail. And it's brilliant, and it's fantastic that we're sponsoring this again, because it is a huge competition, and it's been sponsored for a very long time by the Sporting Press now. As we say, it's late in the year, it's a funny year, and of course, people can't attend, and that is terrible for us all. There's something special missing, there's a buzz missing. So look, I mean, it's out of our hands, but whenever we return to level 3 or whatever it's going to be, who would have thought this could happen a year ago, But let's hope we can start getting some people coming.
Yeah, even if we get back to limited numbers, there's going to be some dash for those tickets. I'd say you can feel the hunger is there. People want to get back on track.
They want to get back, and on an overall picture, it's important as well, because if people get out of the habit of going racing, it can be difficult sometimes to get them back. So it's completely out of our hands. It's out of the Greyhound Authority. It's out of everyone's hands, really. You know what I mean? But the sooner we can get people back, the better. But that huge thing apart, it's a fantastic Oaks, and I'm looking forward to Saturday very, very much.
Yeah, we've only really dipped our toe in the water thus far. Some bitches will step forward considerably on their opening round efforts, and that should make for some very competitive racing. When 48 goes down to 24, there's not going to be much room for the hangers on. There's only going to be quality left at that point.
Excuse me, and that's why those who are running off in the back, that's when they will start being found out. But at the same time, Scooby Princess, like the wide runners will generally keep qualifying one way or the other, because they avoid trouble. And Shelbourne is a track that definitely suits wide runners, So there's a few dark horses in it too, and there's some that we probably haven't even noticed yet that are going to pick up in the next few weeks. But I think Right So Well is an interesting one. Mohane Rosa certainly is another, that could keep progressing. But as I say, the very first heat, Ballymac Arcs and Ravenswood Mango, they're going to be going hammer and tongs at it. That'll get us going straight into it.
Yeah, we'll be straight into it. No room for error, as they say on Saturday night. But Declan, it's going to be wall-to-wall coverage in the Sporting Press, out on Thursday morning, of course.
Great, so. Okay, thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Declan. Well, that's it for Talking Oaks, I suppose we're going to call this one, and we'll be back next Thursday for more discussion on the Sporting Press Irish Oaks. It promises to be a great competition. For the remainder, we'll be down to 24 next time we're speaking to you. See you then.